From the book of James, chapter 1. I read to you verses 2 through 5. James chapter 1, verses 2 through 5. Consider it pure J-O-Y. Joy. My brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. Hallelujah to the Lamb. Hallelujah. This is part 2 of part 4. We have been talking for 4 weeks about why Christians can handle problems. So we've gone from work problems, wallet problems, waiting problems, and now worry problems. And this is part B of part 4. And I want to talk to you about these 2 things once I build the foundation, which is our introduction. After introduction, here it is. I want to give to you, let you go home with this, the purposes, not purpose, but purposes of problems for the saints. If you're not born again, you might take a nap. Or in this section, I will be talking to the saints. Back the whole service to the saints, because it says why Christians can handle problems. And finally, I'm going to end with these 2 words: child training. Child training. Children have been cursed not to have that anymore by the authority of the law. It keeps being said, and it shall be said to the end of time, that some people are deceived that because you get saved and you walk with Jesus and he's in love with you, that you won't have any problems. If you want to avoid problems, don't get saved. You got that? I said, don't. If you want to avoid people talking about you and not liking you and not lying on you, and people you do things for hating you, don't get sick. We have somehow overlooked Jesus for as much as he did for people. Same man that fed 5,000, they laid their coats out and branches out, and by that Friday they were saying, crucify him. Yes, sir. Yes, but the man who didn't do nothing for him, they said, let him go. Folk who pray for us, we crucify. The folk who curse us, we praise. I was in New Orleans on Friday, and a preacher called me, and he was talking about some stuff going on in his church. He wasn't a pastor at that church. And he was talking about, he said, look, he said, they want to fire me for being late, but they want to raise him up for drinking. I said, Reverend, I just kept driving. I said, Reverend, they don't crucify nobody but good people. Jesus says, you should beware when all folk got something good to say about you. He's encouraging those of us who've been talked about. In other words, he's saying, if Negroes are talking about you, you might be on the right road. But when everybody got something good to say about you, and they even defended you and say, let them alone, that's a good sign. You ain't walking with Jesus. Tests, trials, and troubles. 2, 3 T's. Test, trials, and troubles. Test, trials, and troubles affect our spiritual development. Most of us have a long way to go in our spiritual development. It shows because we don't come to Sunday school. It shows because we don't come to night service. It shows because we don't come to Bible study and prayer meeting. It shows because we're not involved in ministry. It shows because we're only concerned about ourselves. It shows. And though we pray about our tests, trials, and troubles, I come to tell you today that we should pray for more trouble, not less, because we are slacking in spiritual development. Are you understanding what I'm saying? One who is obstinate. You know what that word means? One who is hard is one who, when one gets hard in the church, preacher can't tell you nothing. Mama can't tell you nothing. Nobody can tell you nothing. That's an obstinate person, hard-hearted person. When one becomes hard, it is the natural tendency, listen somebody, just one. It is the natural tendency of that individual to cling to the word. A hard heart clings to the word. But it takes a softening heart to get saved. Never expect flesh to understand the meaning of the rod. In fact, flesh says that the rod, you can't even talk about it in church anymore, the rod is child abuse. The flesh never understands that. The flesh will hate you for discipline. The flesh will hate you for being hard on an individual and believe what you want. Folk who are easy on you don't care if you go to hell. But folk who keep you in line, folk who are hard on you, folk who tell you the truth about you really mean you good, but you hate us for being hard on you and having disciplined you and straightening you out. Mamas who are so easy on their boys and give them everything they want, and they the best thing since apple pie in 20 years, visit their boys in jail. But mamas who knock the hell out of their boys visit them in their homes, not in somebody's prison house. She sees what that child needs because, believe me or not, every child got some stuff in them that need to come out of them. And the Bible says this, that if you beat your child, you will save them from hell. But now society and the law saying it's child abuse. Now somebody's mad by now, and that's all right. We need a fire truck to cool you off. Wave your hand and we'll call 911. As you are mad, all I got to say is, while you're mad with me, make a decision about this. Is the law right? Or is God right? Nobody asks what God says about discipline anymore. They just say it's child abuse because the law says it. Well, if it was good for you and me, why is it not good for our God? You make up your mind. I ain't going to make the decision. You decide which way is right. But the flesh will never agree and understand the meaning of the rod. Flesh calls love hate. and says God is destroying what God is saving. If troubles, great or small, do not do you good, they do you harm. All troubles will do one of two things. They will do you good, or they will do you harm. Sorrow carried right delivers you and me from a many troubles and a many sins, and can actually be the strength of our life. Person who doesn't go through anything cries quickly. Person who doesn't go through much is weak. Person who doesn't go through much can't see well, can't see far. Panics when a little wind blows their way. But those of us who had some hard knocks, when we fall, we just get up and dust ourselves off and keep on going and don't need a pity party because we've been there before. Yeah, if you ever lost a little money, you don't lose your mind because you lost $10. And the $10 ain't nothing. You've been there before. Every time you lose, when you think you lose 100 ain't nothing no more. And when you lose 1,000, you say, it's all right. If the Lord brought me through this, he'll bring me through that. But if you ain't never lost nothing, you ain't never been through nothing, you ain't never had to do without nothing, you can't handle nothing. If you hadn't been through nothing, you don't know what God is able to bring you out of. You got to go through something. Be sure if you want to be like Jesus, you can't be like Jesus by mere wishing or emotion. Folk are mixed up now. They think that having church is to be emotional, but remember, that's not what Jesus said. He says, they that worship the Lord got to do it in two ways, in spirit and in truth. And we have become so confused in our emotion that we don't know the spirit when he shows up. That's why we call him it. And then we don't know the difference between, we don't know that emotion is not spirit. We come to think that they are one and the same. Well, your emotions change, but the Spirit of God doesn't change. But I tell you, if you're going to be like Jesus, you're going to need three things. You got to have some faith. If you're going to be like Jesus, you got to have some self-control. And see, that's being holy. That's being disciplined. Anybody that does just anything, is not of God. You can't do just anything and have self-control. Self-control will keep you and me from getting fat. Because self-control is a diet plan in 2 words. When something is about to make us fatter, self-control simply says one thing: no. It says no, not because it does not love me. It says no, in fact, because it loves me. But when the other side of me, the loose side, says yes, it's because it does not love me. It wants me fat, out of shape, short of wind, got high cholesterol and blood pressure problems. But no will take away high blood pressure and cholesterol, because no often means love. If we're going to walk like Jesus, we got to have faith, we got to have self-control, and we got to have some struggle. Now you have finished pre-primer class. That's the introduction. And that's enough sermon for you to go home, man. Watch this right here. You just got more sermon than you get from most preachers. And the difference is, and you need to understand this, it's not about me, but some preachers got to go work for the white man, so they ain't got time to get an introduction together that well. But because you pay me to stay home, I can marinate all week. And out of the introduction alone, you got enough to live on. And yet some of y'all don't want me to get paid $1, but if I didn't get paid $1, you can have food like that you just ate. It's good food. Straight from heaven. Let's talk about the second point, which is point 1. Introduction was the first point. Here's the second point that's titled. I said the purposes of problems for the saint. Why Christians can handle problems while we can handle waiting problems. James talks some strange stuff to us, y'all. Young people, listen to me. You're going to need this because, see, y'all got longer than we have. And you're going to need it more than we do. You're going to need it more than we do for two reasons, because hopefully you'll live as long as we have. We don't need it as much as you do because we've been over ground you got to go to. And the world now is more demonic than it used to be. So you need some stuff that folk don't want no more, but they don't realize they need it. But the problem in life is it's usually about what we want, not what we need. But it's the wants that get you in trouble, and it's the needs that'll get you out. So folk don't want to come to church because it's about need. They want to go to the casino because it's about what they want. But the casino won't help you out of your problems. It'll just send you to Gamblers Anonymous for some help. I got that many members gambling. I didn't hardly get no amen from them. Lord have mercy, Jesus. I got alcoholics, I got gamblers. How many of y'all selling drugs? Oh, yeah. You can admit it in the church. You ain't gonna go to jail in church for being a dope pusher. You know what I mean? The church is the place of sinners. Apparently, I mean, if y'all doing all that, I know I got some dope pushers. In fact, somebody told me sometimes, you got more dope pushers in your church once you know. I said, really, I ain't getting a great thought to it. But this morning, I think I need to get some thought to this. Now, I need to know one thing. Are y'all tithing off that drug money? That's right, we got this on video. I messed up now, I know ain't nobody gonna hold me. Just kept my mouth shut. The purposes of problems for the saints. In short, saints don't go through problems just to go through. No. Somebody say hallelujah. Hallelujah. Why we go through them? Listen. James, the brother of Jesus, said these strange, powerful words. He said, brethren, that means women, men, children, brethren. That means the church. That means the saints, brethren. He says, count it all joy. First he said, count it up. And don't just count some of it, count all of it. And here's the good news. He says, and all that you count it as. Ain't that something? Now that's something, but now here's my problem. James, are you crazy? You telling me to take my problems, count them up. I want to look, when I was studying this stuff, y'all, here's what I thought. Some folk get drunk so they don't have to remember. And if you don't remember, you can't count. And this man saying, stay sober long enough, count them up. Don't forget them. And when you count them up and don't forget them, he says, shout. Somebody would help me say, are you crazy? What's wrong with him? Something got to be wrong with him. We have here a paradoxical situation. This is a paradox. I want to explain to you what James is up to. You see, James says, a person who has trouble and is even sad about it, a person who has trouble and is even sad about it, ought to be glad about it. We need to slow down. He says, got trouble, and my trouble is so troubling that it makes me sad, but if you're a saint, you ought to be glad. Well, now, why is it that we usually sad but not glad? We must be missing something. And based on what I have learned from Jesus' brother, we've been missing something. What we've been missing is the conclusion of the paradox. We see what's in our face. Y'all hear me? What I just say? We see what's in our face, but we don't see what's in our faith. I said we see what's in our face, but we don't see what's in our faith. The Holy Ghost just gave it to me. Yeah. He says, be glad. Talk to the church. Say, what now? Be glad. Be glad. Sister Piper going through something, but she ought to, what she need to be? Be glad. Be glad. I mean, you see, she's sad. It might make her blood pressure go up, but glad will bring it down. Yeah. Lisa been going through a storm all year long, but really she ought to be. Oh, y'all ain't talking to me. Apparently you don't have no faith. Apparently you ain't believing this. You ain't believing this. You ain't believing this. Ray told me, he said his mama need prayer. Whatever it is, they just need to be glad. Sally Moore got more problems. And look, she got a church full of problems. She got so many grandchildren. Every time you turn around, she got a problem. But she needs to be glad. But why do we need to be glad? See, he says this in the next verse. Verse 2 says, count it joy. In verse 3, he says this, knowing. Come on now, talk to me. He says, what now? Knowing. See, black folk want to know everything but what we ought to know. Let me explain that to you. Let me help you. See, we want to know everything but the stuff we need to know that's going to help us, but the stuff we know ain't going to help us because it ain't our business. We want to know everybody's business better than our own business, and when it's time for us to know our business, we don't know nothing. He says, what's the word he says that will help us? Is that we need to what? Knowing. Knowing what, James? He said, knowing that the trials of your faith works patience. I understand somebody said, I don't mean that you understand, because you see, that statement, that sentence is a spiritual statement. It's not a fleshly statement about what you're going to win on the Price is Right or the fool's trick they're going to play on you at the fair, that you're glad to put another dollar down and you ain't going to never win because it's already rigged. But you were happy because you just trying. You just keep on trying. You the dog chasing the rabbit on the track that ain't gonna never catch it, but you just happy running. But the book says, as I texted somebody this morning, but the book says, but they that wait, not run. They that wait on the Lord, not run, shall renew. You see, sinners run, and saints wait. You hear me here? Come on in. I need somebody to be preaching. Come on, help me say it. Say, sinners run, but saints wait. I think I'm on to something. Well, listen. Knowing this, that the trials of your faith work patience. Now, let me take that verse 3, and give you the purposes of the problems that saints go through. And you may not want to go to sleep right here, because this might be about you and for you. Now, you know, y'all got a whole book full of notes and don't know none of them. But you might want to put a star highlight these, because you might need to use them this morning. Yeah, you might want to. I got 3 I want to give you. Y'all ready? Here's what we need to understand about our purposes. Here's the first purpose of our problems, in case you didn't know. The first purpose of our problem is to make me what God wants me to be. The purpose or purposes of my problems, first of all, is because it's to make me what God. See, part of my problem is, and one of the reasons I have so much trouble in my life, is that I've been trying to make my life, what you think, what I want it to be. But when I give it to God and humble myself, some hell I used to catch, I don't catch no more. Some sicknesses, some burden, some problems, some diseases, some hell, I don't catch no more because God been working on me and he doesn't even send that fire. But when I'm high-minded and proudful and hard-headed and stiff-necked and stubborn and obstacle, he'll send some hell to soften you up. Somebody say, ain't the Lord all right? I said the purpose is to make me what he wants me to be. Listen, somebody, I shall therefore, now that I know this, not measure things by their capacity to delight me.
All right.
I shall not measure things by the pleasing of their taste to me. I shall not measure things by how much I desire them or not desire them. I shall not measure them by sense, but by their power. To make me what God wants me to be. That means then that sometimes you and I got to have some distasteful stuff, some senseless stuff, some non-pleasing stuff to make us what he wants us to be. And then, so I tell you what, there's an old song that if you ever think about singing, you may not want to sing it no more because it'll play a role in making us what God wants to be. Back in the late 70s and very early 80s, while in college, we used to sing this song, Please Be Patient. Because God not through with me. But see, when he's not through with us, that means he sends some stuff that messed us up. He takes us to the potter's house in Jeremiah's book, and it's through the heat that he causes us to break down, and he put us back together again. And if you notice in the book, those of you who have read it, when the potter got through making it, and he said, go down there and look at what he's doing. And what he noticed was, he says, it looked pretty good. Yeah. But an amazing thing happened. When I thought the pottery was finished, my goodness. He turned around and tore it back down again. I wonder, why? Because it looked pretty good with me. Because the potter could see stuff nobody else could see. You might be ready to buy that pot. No, you can't buy that pot. My name is on that pot, and I want to have a good reputation. I'm not going to sell you no fake stuff. I got to bring it down again. And he broke it down one time, and here you go, you got some more trouble coming in your life. And what's happening is that he's bringing you down again. Anybody with me up in here yet? James says, count it all joy. It's starting to look like James ain't the one that's crazy. All us Nigerians up in here and screwed up. And so forth, he owns something. I said their purpose is not purpose. The second purpose is to mold me in his likeness. Make me what he wants me to be and mold me in his likeness. Yeah. Listen, somebody, just one. Rest y'all go sleep till I get there. We need one person here and me and you. We need this new paradigm shift. All right. Listen to this. If the meanings of sorrow and joy are one, what did I just tell you? That sorrow and joy mean the same thing. All right. How in the Hades is that possible? Watch yourself. Yeah, watch yourself. How is that possible that sorrow and joy mean the same thing? Oh, I'm through. I'll get to that answer in a minute. That God intends the same. Listen, somebody. God intends the same when he gives and when he takes it. Joy and sorrow mean the same. Giving and taking mean the same. Huh? I've been holding on tight, trying to hold what I got. You telling me the blessing is in God taking it, not me holding it. Rev, we're going to run you out of here. Come on. All right. Listen, that the hot suns of summer and the biting winds of winter are equally trying to produce the same fruit. That day and night come from the same place. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, my son Jared was here. He would help me on that. But, I was walking one day, and I said, so what direction is the sun going down in? He listened, and I began to explain to him as he was getting this stuff together that the sun was going. Jared said, "Sun ain't going nowhere." The sun ain't moving, earth moving. And he's right. Yeah, he's right. And he's right here. It says day and night come from the same place. You see, the earth is revolving and causes it to look as if the sun is moving. And so while it's turning, while the earth is turning, the sun in the morning is on one side. And because it keep on turning, by the end of the day, if the Lord let you stay here, it'll be on your other side. And morning and night, day and night, come from the same place. Same place. So both of them are working for my good. You see, if I understand that life is but the third purpose, life is but, just one of y'all want to write this down. Life is nothing but the scaffolding for building character. I'm going to spell it for just one person. S-C-A-F. F-O-L-D. Start over. S-C-A-F. F-O-L-D-I-N-G. Life is nothing but the scaffolding for building character. Yeah. Life frames my life. See, look. The Holy Ghost just gave this to me to give just you. Just one person. The biggest loser in life is a person who thinks that the world revolves around them. Do you know anybody? They just determined to make the world accept them for what they want to be. They just determined that they gonna do it like they want to do it, and everybody gonna have to like it. That's not how life works. God sent us into the world, and now that we are in the world, we are to determine where we're supposed to be, where we're supposed to fit, when we're supposed to fit, and play the role that has been designated to us while we are here. But if we decide to play another role, it ain't gonna work. If a woman trying to be a man, it ain't gonna work. If a man want to be a woman, it ain't gonna work. If a human being decide they want to be a fish, it ain't gonna work. Now, I tell you one thing that does work is a human being being a snake. Plenty of them around here. You can find them in the church, and you ain't got to go to other church. Just start right here, stay here long enough, you get bit. You stay here long enough, you get bit. You don't know it. Some of them in here right now. They show up every service we got. Snakes. The scaffolding for this world are so elevated, watch this, by difficulties and gladnesses. Then I welcome both day and night. I welcome both joy and sorrow. I welcome both giving and taking. I welcome both riches and poverty. I welcome both easy street and trouble, because it'll help my soul. And neither good or bad will be able to keep me from my course. My heart is fixed. My mind is made up. I'm on course. And when your heart is fixed, your mind is made up, you got your focus, you're on course. And I ain't gonna turn around. Finally, my brothers and sisters, now that you understand the purpose is a problem for the saints, not the sinners, I need to talk to you all a minute about something you ain't gonna like. But I'm just a mailman. But you know, folk always want to shoot the mailman and sick the dog on the mailman. I understand I've been sick on it for 30 years, so it's okay. You're gonna do it one more day ain't no different. One more day. Child training. Would you say this for me? Oh, by the way, a third point that just shot in from heaven that somebody may not want to hear, but I got to tell you, God ain't got no grown folk. In the church is the last place where you find grown folk. When folks say, I'm grown, what does that mean in the periphery of the church? For it has no place in the church. The Bible says, it talks about God having children. And the Son of God even said, unless you become as a little child, you shall forget about getting in. You won't even see the kingdom of heaven. So anybody who has the audacity to be presumptuous and say, I'm grown, apparently does not understand what they say. God is not interested in having no grown. Yeah, blessings are found in being childlike, being humble, being willing to listen. Reverend Turner and I were out on the tennis court a couple of weeks ago, and a fellow came out there with a patch on his eye, and he kept wanting to testify. He was over by a pavilion, we on the court, and he looks over and he says, hey, ain't you the preacher? He was talking to Reverend Turner, he had a patch on his eye, and so he gets on the big guy, he's on his bicycle, he comes into the court. And he's sitting on the back there on the court, and he's talking while we're playing, and he talks and he talks and he talks, and he's still telling his testimony about what the Lord had done for him, and that he had been going with this woman, and she wanted him to stay with her, and so she put some blood in his food, and he almost died, and he said, a miracle happened in my life, the Lord blessed me, and he kept telling it, and he was, listen to this, y'all. Listen to this. He was telling the story as if his salvation was proven by his miracle. Wow. I said he was telling the testimony as if his salvation, the proof of his salvation was in his miracle. By this time, the spirit of Reverend Turner and I both know this brother, he's confused. He's on the wrong track. And so now Reverend Turner is down here, the man's on the bike right here, and we change sides, and I'm over on this side, and Reverend Turner is getting ready to serve me, and he says to this brother, he says, you know what your problem is? Brother quits talking. He says, you talk too much. He said it to him hard, you talk too much. Brother sat on the bike, and at this time the demon rose up. He said, that's what's wrong with all you preachers. That's why y'all don't have nobody, can't do nothing, because you just tell half the truth. And until you get like that woman who healed me, she was a Hispanic woman and she healed me, that's why y'all can't get nobody. You don't tell nothing but half the truth. And Reverend Turner hadn't served yet, and he was getting ready to say something. I said, serve the ball. Because you see, after the brother decided to finish his sermon to us, and he left out the court, I said to Reverend, Salvation is not in talking. Salvation is in listening. You who don't like to listen like to talk. And you who don't want nobody to tell you anything like to do all the talking. And when you get through doing all the talking, you have decided our conversation. And let me tell you where you are. And therefore you are where you have always been, but in a worse shape. And the devil has you locked up because you refuse to do any of the listening. You come to church. You don't come to church to do the talking. You do your talking doing worship, but when it's time to hear from heaven, you shut up so you can get saved. So you can get rescued, so you can get direction, so you can get your blessing. You don't run your mouth when mama talking, when daddy talking, when authority talking, when the pastor is talking. You shut up. Some of you have no respect for pastors. Let me tell you why I bring that up at this point. The Holy Spirit told me to disrespect your pastor is to disrespect your parent. Do you have attitude with your parent? Do you mistreat your parent? Do you talk any kind of way to your parent? Do you have attitude with your parent without getting the hell knocked out of you? A pastor is your parent. And to disrespect your pastor is to disrespect yourself and to disrespect your God. Reverend Williams told those of you who were the other night, you can't accept God if you don't accept your pastor. You are dooming and damning yourself when you have attitude and are disrespectful and won't listen to or be obedient to your pastor. But when you're worldly minded, you don't want to hear none of that kind of stuff. And what I'm talking about at this very moment is the last point, child training. See, listen somebody, most of us, if not all of us, want to be great. Is that right? Man, woman, or child, we want to be great. But let me tell you something, a great person doesn't mind being little. Because you can get to be great by being little. When a great person sits down on a cushion of advantages, that's not good for us. Because when a great person sits on a cushion of advantages, they soon go to sleep. Folk who easily go to sleep in church go to sleep because they ain't going through nothing, but it's hard to go to sleep in church when you're going through something. Apparently somebody knows what I'm talking about. And you see, the reason some folk can't ever shout in the church is because they ain't going through nothing and they ain't working on nothing. But if you're working on something and you're going through something, you got to come to church to get you something because you need some revelation. You need some encouragement. You need some enlightenment. You need some direction. You ain't got time to go to sleep up in there. You ain't in that big of a hurry, but when you ain't going through nothing, it ain't about nothing, you ready to go. Time I read the text. How long he gonna be? You can leave if you want. I'm trying to help you. Just one. I'm longer than I already want. You and I got one thing coming. I want to be through too, but I'm trying to help somebody. And at least I ain't wasting your time while I'm standing up here talking about that. You see, listen, the great person, the great woman, the great man, the great child, you can be great as a child. Martin Luther King Jr. was so great as a child that he changed his name and his daddy followed him. His name was not Martin Luther King Jr., but it was Michael Luther King Jr. But being a great student, he wanted to be Martin like Martin Luther, and he had his name changed. And the senior followed the junior. That's a great child. The great person, y'all, when the great person is pushed, tormented, and dejected, has a chance to learn something. When you got everything already, You ain't learning nothing. You ain't growing. You don't know about nothing. James makes it clear that God does not give us trouble for trouble's sake. He gives us trouble for our sake, Sister Selena. You see, trouble is not an end in itself. Whoever here right now is going through some trouble, whatever the trouble is, from a headache to death, you ain't going through it for nothing. Somebody ought to say, praise the Lord. I want to tell you why you're going through what you're going through, why you're going through what you're going through. You're going through what you're going through if you belong to God for this one reason. God has a goal in mind. You are so important. He loves you so much that he's got you going through trouble, not because he likes old man trouble, but because he loves you. And old man trouble ain't that important. Trouble just doing what trouble does. See, at least trouble knows his job, but let me ask you something. Do you know yours? God has a goal in mind. In Hebrews 12, I'm not going to ask you to turn there, I just want to write down because I'm trying to get through this thing. In Hebrews 12, so we got to go to another church. I know some of y'all, I stayed too long. You ain't in the church. You ain't going to come back to 2 weeks. Yeah. Some of y'all can't handle church back to back. Having church 2 hours, 7 days in a row, just too much bad. Just too much church. There was church in the world. You go to work 5 or 6 days a week. The amazing thing, the folk who can't handle 2 hours of church every week, they got 2 and 3 jobs done. They work all the time. And then say they don't like the work. That don't make good sense to me. If you don't like the work, you ought to go to church so you ain't got to work. Well, if you go to church, the Lord will pay your bills. But when you don't go to church and don't give God what's his, he'll let you pay your own stuff. And then no matter how much you're doing, then you need somebody. Then you go to somebody and say, brother, can you spare the quarter? Used to be a dime, but inflation takes its toll. Yeah, somebody need a quarter now because they ain't trusted the Lord. Trust in the Lord with all their heart, and he shall direct your path. Acknowledge him in all thy ways, and he will direct you. Ain't that good news? I'm glad that's good news. God, in Hebrews 12, we see one method God uses in the life of a believer, and that method is called chastening. It's called what now? Chastening. Just you one. I know you might be about to go to sleep. Hang on with me about 10 more minutes. Claire will be through with you. It's chastening. Now let me tell you the blessedness of what chastening means. Now, those of y'all that don't like whippings and you claim that stuff is outdated and ain't right, and you need to go to jail, you ought to be ashamed. Here's your problem, though. It's in the Bible. And in fact, it's in the Bible about chastening. In fact, in chapter 12, it says this: if the Lord didn't love you, he would not chastise you. He would not whip you. He says, and it says in verse 8 that if he does not whip you, he considers you as a bastard. Am I cursing? It's in the book. In the King James, it's in the book. In the NIV, it says, as an illegitimate child, which is the same thing. But if you get whipping, if you get chastised, if you got to go through some trouble, if you got to cry sometime, it's because you belong to Jesus. Hallelujah. Sometimes folks wonder, why me? Why? Because you belong to God. That's why. He has a goal in mind. He's determined that you're not going to be one of them thugs in Baltimore out there throwing rocks at the police and they got guns. He ain't going to let the police shoot you. He's going to knock the hell out of you so he can save you. But the world says, don't whip them to save them. Let the law beat them and kill them. Every black man that's been on CNN, on the news, been mistreated, been killed, it wasn't right. But one thing I noticed, you got to be truth to yourself. But if them Negroes hadn't been doing what they were doing, alive today. You ain't got to like what the law says. You ain't got to like what I say. See, I'm authority of the church and the police authority on the street. But whoever is your authority makes you right when you're wrong. You go to the court. A lot of us in here have been to court, and what the judge said wasn't right. But it doesn't matter if we say it wasn't right. They're the authority, and that makes it right. Am I right about that? When the law says, tell you to do something, don't argue with them crazy. Shut up and do what they tell you before they knock the hell out of you. And if you get shot, it's your fault. So get on the ground, get on the ground. Ain't the first time you've been on the ground. Before Nintendo, all of us been on the ground. You get out there and you fall and you wipe yourself off. Well, just wipe yourself off one more time. It's better to wipe off than to get shot. That police shot me. Well, you should have shut your mouth. That's what people do when you don't shut your mouth. They knock the hell out of you. It ain't just the police. It happened in your house. When Negro talking, ain't got no minute talking. That thing happened. Somebody knock the hell out of you. I ain't getting no claps from that. If you ain't done it, you thought about it. And you know what? And you keep thinking about it. It's subject to happen if no change. Something better change or it's going to happen. Something better change. Somebody better hurry and make a change. Lord, trying to do something for you. Yeah, he's trying to do something for you. What he does is, you see, chastening means this. Here's where we are. Y'all didn't want you to know this. Chastening means child training. Discipline means child training. Y'all think about that. To discipline my child is to train him. Well, we got a nightmare. Because the government wants to put you in jail now for training your child. And we got fools in the church agreeing with them instead of the Bible. And some of them fools in here right now. You're talking about you. I said, you're a fool. Well, yeah, you're a fool. Since we hadn't been training, look how much the jail is full. Since we hadn't been training, not all of the jails full, they're sleeping on the floor. Not all of you sleeping on the floor, they are building new jails. Not only are they building new jails, they are making money off of Negroes in the jail. But folk don't like what I say. But do you like the consequences of what you get? Trials are meaningless, suffering is senseless, and testing is irrational without a purpose or goal. When the external purposes of testing are on us and we are placed in the fires of adversity, tragedy, and suffering, the attitude of faith shall be that God has permitted it for a purpose. And finally, my brothers and sisters, we can know God is working something out. If you're suffering this moment, God is working something out. If you're going through a sickness and don't know why you, God is working something out. If folk you've been good to ain't treating you right, God. I said God. That's all you need to know right there. God is working something out. Yeah, if you lost your job and it should have been somebody else, but it was you, God is working something out. And what he's doing is he's working out in your life. And you got to remember what Job says in Job 23:10. He knows the way I take. And when he has tried me, I shall come forth pure as gold. Praise his name. And don't wait till the battle is over. Praise his name. I said, don't wait till the morning comes. Start right now and praise his name. Ain't he all right? I said, ain't he all right? That's why James said, count it all joy. Count it all joy. yourself, count it all joy. Hallelujah to the Lamb. Hallelujah to the Lamb. Hallelujah to the Lamb. Whatever you're doing in this season in my life, please don't do it without me. Don't do it without me. The door of the church is open. Lord, if you healing in the season, please don't. Sometimes y'all sing and pray like y'all will. You got to be fervent in what you say sometimes. Talk to him. Call his name. Lord!